And then I reached a point that was extremely low. I was very depressed, and luckily this camp was about to start up. I went to it, and speech therapist working there said, "Hey, you would be a good speech therapist. Why don't you go to graduate school and become one?" And just having someone who believed in me a little bit.
Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Shafer of Talks with Dr. Shafer. I'm so glad you're here. I'm a physician, mom, musician, author, publisher, and I'm passionate about helping others reclaim their stories so they can build their most beautiful future. And part of reclaiming your story, as we have discussed a lot on Talks with Dr. Shafer, is reclaiming your voice. Our guest today has really done that and his story. Travis Althouse, a speech therapist who is known around the world for his videos where he shares his own journey living with a stutter, is now the author and illustrator of a new children's book, Fen Finds His Voice, a tale about a fish with a unique voice who is starting school and facing his own fears about fitting in, who learns to face his fears and develop the confidence to use his own unique voice. Travis, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
I came across your story when I was searching on social media, which is a way that a lot of our listeners and people around the world have gotten to know you. And you have so beautifully shared your story there. I appreciate you coming on to Talks with Dr. Shafer to share your story with us and how you are using your growth and your vulnerability to help others on their own journeys of accepting their voices. When were you first diagnosed with a stutter, or when did you start having stuttering be a part of your speech pattern?
Yeah, so I was in third grade when I first started stuttering. So that's around ages 8 and 9, and no apparent trigger, just that some kids will develop a stutter, and most won't. Um, Mine happened a little bit later than it typically would, but still relatively in that time frame of 3 to 6.
Can you describe your experience with having a stutter and how that maybe has changed? What was that like as you recall it as a young boy, and then how that changed over time? What do you experience with your stutter?
I remember pretty immediately being self-conscious about how I spoke. Some kids would make fun of me. Much wouldn't, but it's tough being a kid, and all you want to do is fit in, and you have something very noticeable that sets you apart. Um, that can be tough. And even though I got years and years of speech therapy, you don't you're not guaranteed to stop stuttering. There's no strategy that will always work, and so this really is a lifelong journey. And for most of my life, I was so self-conscious, uh, embarrassed, afraid of talking, because I took longer, sometimes perceived as as less than. That's always one of the big fears, at least for me. And I'm not really. I'm just as capable. Just my body just talks differently. Um, but the stutter, it impacted, and I'm being very sincere. It impacted literally every single aspect of my life, of where I went, who I talked to, when I talked, how much I talked, how I did anything, what I did. Um, so, so stuttering is a big challenge, or it can be, and I think with time and perspective, just like with all things, your your outlook changes, and rather than being sorry for yourself and and hiding away, you can more actively do something about it, and kind of change. This does suck, but I can still talk. So let me keep talking.
Hmm. I'm so glad you're doing that now. Looking back at yourself as a little boy after your diagnosis and after starting speech therapy and all of the things that went with that, are there things that you missed out on that you regulated yourself to not do that looking back you wish you had done?
Yeah, so I I always pretended to be shy. Um, when I didn't want to be, but when people think you're shy, they don't talk to you as much, and so in the moment, that was nice because I didn't have to stutter. I I didn't have to feel embarrassed. Um, but that also meant I didn't talk as much in school, didn't didn't really make connections with friends. Um, I didn't do like drama class where the people I liked were in it. Yeah, so or I held myself back in in a lot of ways, just out of fear that that other people wouldn't accept my stutter. But I mean, really, it was that I couldn't accept it, and probably some people, um, just due to lack of understanding and awareness of what it is, would be confused. But but man, if you make something a big deal, then other people will assume it's a big deal, and if you go on showing that something it doesn't matter so much, then other people will just be like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't bother him, so I guess it shouldn't bother me."
Such good advice for all of us, for everyone. That's really beautiful, and hmm, I hope that if we have people listening and they're really wanting to do something and they have a reason that they're self-imposing to not do it, that they maybe give themselves a second chance at trying that thing of getting up on the stage or singing the song. I know you do have a lot of hobbies that you enjoy. I've learned that you enjoy cooking. Are there other hobbies that you enjoy that have helped you beyond social media and getting out there and sharing your voice? Are there other hobbies that have now, as an adult who's pushing yourself to do the things outside of your comfort zone that challenge you with your speech. Are there any activities that you found to be helpful and that you really enjoy that maybe you held back on doing previously?
Yeah. Well, sports have always been some aspect of my life. When I was younger, because wouldn't really talk so much, I use sports as an avenue to kind of show people, oh, okay, he is capable. And now I'm able to kind of enjoy sports without feeling like I have to prove that. But volleyball is my big one these days. I'm typically playing between 3 and 5 days a week, and I really hope that I'm getting better. But some days it doesn't feel like it. Um, Apart from that, I love board games and card games and puzzles. So I've been able to build community with people who enjoy volleyball and board games, and that's something I had always longed for, but was too self-conscious to go out to a group of people and ask if I could play with them, uh, which children are so great at. But then as adults, it becomes scary.
It really does. It's hard making new friends, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it can feel like, especially as seasons of life change and, we talk about, pruning away things in your life, things that don't fit anymore. And sometimes certain relationships don't fit, or at least in this season, right? But then there's this fear of being alone and of making new connections. I think that's really beautiful that you offer us this opportunity that no matter your circumstances, if you're willing to put yourself out there, you can make these connections, and you're such a great example of that. And by the way, with your community and with your work, sharing just everyday thoughts to more, clinical and more stuttering focused thoughts. Just by putting yourself out there as a full and complete person, you've inspired so many people to feel free to do that themselves.
Yeah, that's been a really beautiful aspect of this that I wasn't really expecting. And I would say, like, whatever feelings you're feeling, well, most people probably are too. Most people want more friends in their life, and are also too self-conscious to walk up to a stranger and and start a conversation. But we're all kind of longing for it.
We're all longing for community, which is in part why, it's funny because social media can be the worst of us and the worst of humanity, but it can also really be the best of us, right? We have an opportunity to build something beautiful. And again, you really have built that community. So I definitely encourage everyone to follow along your journey at travis.stuttering on Instagram. Are there other platforms where you're sharing your story that you love to connect with people on?
Yeah, I'm across social media, so Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. I'm not on Twitter, so if there is an account there that has my name, it's not me.
Can we talk about something that I've heard you speak about that I think can be really, really confusing for people who don't have a stutter, who have not encountered someone with stuttering in their lives? And it can be really confusing, and they have questions and maybe they're embarrassed to ask. And that's the fluctuating nature of stuttering, right? That there can be certain letters or sounds that bring out stuttering, but then in a next sentence, that same sound, that same consonant may not be associated with stuttering. Or you may have a sentence where there is no stuttering, and then you may have a sentence where it's really, really challenging. You have to catch your breath after. So, could you give us some insights into stuttering and the coming and going and the inconsistent, fluctuating nature of it?
Yeah, so stuttering by nature is variable and inconsistent. So we don't have a quota of how much or when we will stutter. It is really a bit random. Now, there are certain things that may exacerbate it, like heightened emotional states, such as feeling anxious, stressed, tired, sick, if there's time pressure, things like that. But yeah, there's sometimes I can say a few sentences without stuttering at all, and there are some sentences where on pretty much every single word I may get stuck. It truly varies, which is the frustrating part, because while we're kind of used to, okay, my body will stutter, but it's impossible to fully prepare for it, because you never know when or how long or really why. It's just something you have to be flexible with, because it will happen whether you want it to or not. And I mean, really, it's when you don't want it to. But yeah.
Appreciate you sharing that. And you said flexible. And I think that's another thing that you communicate well on your channel is not just the experience of when you are someone who stutters, but if you are someone who loves someone who stutters or wants to communicate more effectively and kindly with someone who stutters. What are things that you want people to understand and things that you wish that people knew so that communication, we can take down those barriers of anxiety or other barriers that may come up in conversation between someone who has a stutter and someone who does not?
Stutterers always know what they want to say. They always know how to say it. It's just that our bodies physically make us stuck when we try talking. So the best thing that people can do for us now, overwhelmingly, of course, each individual has a different preference, but the vast majority of stutterers, they just want patience. They want to have the space to be able to express themselves without people rushing them or guessing their words for them. When a lot of people assume, oh, they're stuttering, that's a hard thing. Let me guess their words for them. I mean, yeah, you help the word come out a couple seconds earlier, but in the long term, what you're doing is showing us, oh, okay, when I stutter, people want to talk for me. So I must be taking too long. I must be a burden. And maybe I won't talk as much because every time I try to, someone interrupts me. And one one point that's really important is even though I'm stuttering and my words aren't coming out, uh, I am still talking. This is how my body talks. So even if a word is stuck and and you guess it for me, you are interrupting me, and no one likes that feeling of saying something and then getting interrupted.
I think often we have these well intentioned but ill landing attempts to help others that are actually kind of stealing their autonomy and stealing their voice from them. And I think also you really make me think about how busy and fast paced the world is and how we have a lot of grace for a lot of things. Time is not usually one of them. And we know in social media, especially, right? You're trying to hook someone's attention in a very short period of time. Greatest gift we can give people in our lives, our most precious thing that we have is our time. And having that invitation to slow down can actually, if you allow yourself to step into it, can be such a beautiful experience to just slow down and really hear one another.
Yeah, we have become so accustomed to expecting things basically instantaneously. And that is most things. And so when you interact with a stutterer, for example, you are forced to slow down. And for a lot of people who aren't used to it, that's uncomfortable because it's disrupting their typical pattern in life. But boy, it's such a beautiful thing to sit in silence with someone too, and even if that silence is from me trying to talk, but getting stuck, or we can just both sit silently and not say anything. It's really nice sometimes to escape our our typical patterns.
It is. Oh, I love the focus on that. And, so many of us who face challenges in our lives, which we all do, some of them are just less visible than others.
We can all do it, but we all appreciate it, and everyone else that we meet, we we kind of crave that authenticity. We love when people challenge themselves and and strive for something bigger despite their challenges. And and to me, that is far more impactful than than the challenge itself. It's
Mm.
it is the lessons that we can learn from from working with and working through that challenge instead.
So one of the things that we do on the channel is we talk about there's no safety in silence. There's no growth in silence, right? We can't hide behind the things, the challenges in our life, the things that make us afraid, and bringing them out into the light is so, so helpful. Using our voices is so, so helpful. So, what was it about 2 years ago that inspired you to start sharing your story with the world?
So I was working at a a stuttering clinic, basically. And years ago, met a gal who was 12 years old. Now she must be about 20. So when she was still a teenager in high school, she started posting videos about her stutter, and she was reaching millions of people, and and showing them what stuttering was like. And I thought, boy, well, a lot of my own fear around stuttering is is because I'm afraid of how others will perceive me. But but most people don't know much about stuttering, so they just know some common things. A lot are misconceptions, and if I could reach several million people and and share what stuttering is, what it isn't, what it's like to live with a stutter, then maybe I won't be as self-conscious about talking with a stutter with another stranger, or a child across the world might not be as afraid to stutter because others would have known a little bit more about stuttering and how to respond to it. And so it was really my friend Kaya, who was posting TikTok videos about her stutter, and that encouraged me to. And then I joined her one day, and I recorded her talking on the phone with the stutter. And that video, it got like 13 million views. And then I thought, oh man, well, I was right there for that. So that does seem doable. Let me try it. And as someone who didn't have any social media for years and years and years, it was a big learning process. But it is surprisingly has been one of the best things that I've ever done.
And we're so grateful for the way that you share yourself with the world, because that's really what you do. You really share yourself and your life and inspire people by just being you, which I think is kind of the point of it all, right? When we share our voices, that's you are enough as you, and you are not, you mentioned a burden, which is such a painful word. Whoever created the word burden knew what they were doing, because the word burden actually feels like a boulder, right? um, in your mouth. It feels awful. No one wants to feel that way. But I think when we step into ourselves, we prove to ourselves and everyone else every day that that's just simply not true. No one is a burden. Now, you have spoken about accepting your stutter. What does life look like after feeling like you have truly accepted your own voice?
Well, I'll say that this is a lifelong journey for me. So, some days my acceptance is pretty high. Some days it's really not. I don't have this this constant level of acceptance. But boy, truly, I never expected that I would reach a point where I would be able to not just like willingly have a conversation with someone, but I appreciate having like a 1 hour conversation with a stranger like you, and it's an odd feeling, but it's so wonderful that I feel comfortable with being able to express myself. I I talk about how my goal is is to encourage people to focus on what people say rather than how they say it. And man, I keep meeting more and more people who care about what I say and and how I say it, and it warms my heart just so much when that keeps happening.
I'm so grateful that you're sharing your story with us. Now, I want to share a little bit about your new book, which is so successful. It just came out this past week, and it's really taking Amazon by storm. And in the future, you're going to have it on more platforms. Tell me about Finn finds his voice and why this is such an important story to share with everyone.
So the premise of Finn finds his voice is there is a little fish named Finn, and his reef. Every fish around him talks with a stutter, so their words all bump and bounce, and Finn feels different because his voice comes out really smooth. So he does not stutter. And he is starting his first day of school, and he's really, really embarrassed that he talks differently. And 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 gradually he kind of learns that even though he talks differently, he can still be comfortable sharing his voice. And I I I really love this story. Um, what I love is the flip of rather than having to one character that stutters, that that readers who stutter would be able to resonate with. This instead is every reader that doesn't stutter will be able to resonate with, oh man, well, what would happen if the way I talk was the unique way. And I really think that it 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 is a solid story that can impact a a lot of people, and the story comes with lesson plans for teachers and and speech therapists, so they can read it to their classes and then follow for free lesson plans, just to encourage more schools to get this book, because 1% of the population stutters, but between 4 to 5% of kids stutter. So every school statistically will have one or a couple stutterers in it. And it's just great to kind of share that education and awareness, so they don't feel different.
Hmm. Well, I love this book. I love the curveball. It's a great way to get attention and to really make people think. And I think it also helps with, like you were saying earlier, about how we're all stuck in our head. I think it helps us get out of our head when we are forced to view the world from a different perspective. And this really does that for readers, right? It forces you to take on a new perspective. And that's a part of why books are so important in our lives and our children's lives, to force us to take new perspectives. And then we can really see the world differently. And that is one of the big things that can lead to acceptance and understanding between people, because we all have our various differences and challenges and health conditions. And this understanding of one another can really help us connect in a really beautiful way.
Yeah, I mean, the more we talk about a thing, the more awareness there is, the less of a deal it becomes. It's like how people aren't used to stuttering, so it seems like an odd thing. Um, think about people wearing glasses, like. Yeah, we can just view it as that. It's just, oh yeah, they wear glasses. Okay, and then we could be stuttering as, oh, okay, their words get stuck, or they repeat. Okay, and so that's my long term goal.
Mm, I love that. And another goal that you had was become a speech therapist yourself. When did you decide to do that? And how has that changed your life as someone who started speech therapy quite young?
Hmm. Yeah, so I started speech therapy when I started stuttering in third grade. Went off and on until my late 20s. I had some speech therapists that were pretty solid, and some clearly didn't really know much about stuttering, and roughly 5 to 10% of speech therapists are comfortable treating stuttering. So this is a unique thing, um, where 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 you may think, okay, I'm getting a speech therapist. Great. Well, chances are they aren't as familiar with with how to work with you as they could be. Um, but my journey to becoming a speech therapist started from joining a stuttering camp, this intensive workshop for about 4 weeks at a time. We would work on stuttering and going up to strangers and talking and building awareness, learning different strategies, working on acceptance, all these aspects. And I was working at this camp for a couple years in the summers, but still very much struggling with my own outlook of my stutter. Um, and then I reached a point that was extremely low. I was very depressed, and luckily this camp was about to start up. I went to it, and one of the speech therapists working there said, "Hey, you would be a good speech therapist. Why don't you go to graduate school and become one?" And just having someone who believed in me a little bit, I thought, oh, okay, and I applied and I got in, and it is. I, I probably half got in or applied for selfish reasons of, oh, if I'm a speech therapist, I'll learn more about stuttering and and how to better manage it. But then also I could help a lot of people too. And fortunately, both came true.
That's awesome. Travis, do you have any resources that you know of for, as you mentioned, connecting people who are looking for speech therapy specific to stuttering with therapists that are comfortable and experienced in managing stuttering? Is there a good resource for people to connect with?
Yeah, so I mean, within the United States, the biggest resource around stuttering is the National Stuttering Association. They've got a lot of great information on their website. They have support groups for stutterers, for families, not not just adults, but for kids and teens. So that's always where I refer out. Um, and then my website, travisstuttering.com. I've got fluency coaching there. I do speech therapist trainings and workshops, all that stuff to better educate speech therapists.
Like, Finn finds
So
his voice is doing really great, and I'm just so excited for everybody to read it. Where can our listeners get the book and add it to their collection?
So right now, it's available on Amazon around the world. I I checked this morning, and it is listed at in the top 20 new releases across all of Amazon. So that's kind of wild. Um, and then within the next week or two, it'll be on Income Spark as well.
That's so exciting. So, multiple ways for people to get the book and enjoy it. I know that
Mhm.
Finn finds his voice has a lot of encouraging messages for readers. I wanted to know what encouragement would you like to pass along to our listeners, our storytellers on Talks with Dr. Shafer about when you're feeling fear over potentially not being accepted, when you're afraid to share your own unique voice? What encouragement would you provide to people?
This is a little bit tough because at different stages of my life, at different ages, I think different advice would have hit differently. Um, but what I would share is that most people are too caught up in their own worlds. They don't have the energy or time to pay attention to you nearly as much as you think they are. Just as for me, I may worry about what someone thinks about my stutter, and then that other person, if if I chat with them, they they may say, "Oh, I didn't really even notice that you stutter." We always think something is a bigger deal when it's happening to us. But then, if our friend reaches out and says, "Hey, I'm really nervous or worried about this," then it's very easy to share. Oh, why? It's not a big deal at all.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Travis. That's wonderful work that you're doing and helping so many people, not only with your book and your social media presence, but with what you're doing also with your practice. It's just really cool. And I'm so grateful that you are here to share your story with our storytellers today. Thank you so much, Travis.
Thanks for having me.
Hmm. It's been such a pleasure having this conversation with you today. And everyone, go check out the website, get a copy of the book. It's so exciting and doing really, really well, which we just love to see that because we love reading and we love reading for not just fun, but also for education and empathy building. And this book really just checks all the boxes. So definitely we have a program called I Love This Book with Dr. Shafer. And I can definitely say that Finn finds his voice also meets the meets the qualifications for I Love This Book with Talks with Dr. Shafer. So thank you so much, Travis, for sharing Finn's story and your story with us today. It's been such a pleasure.
Thanks. Looking forward to next time with my sequel.
Exactly, exactly. We started off with that, and yeah, you've got a lot of people waiting for Finn's next adventure. So thank you so much again. And we want to thank our storytellers for being here as well. And until next time, as always, stay safe and take care. I'll talk to you soon.